Welcome to Slapshot Podcast, episode number 85. I'm your host, Christopher Morais. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. We are almost to the end of the regular season of the NHL. It's right around the corner. We're right there. We got a couple more games left, a little bit of a good time, and then the best time of the year happens. Playoff hockey, baby. Yes. That's what I'm excited for. Hey, thanks for being here. I know it's been a minute. Last time we saw each other for the live show, the NHL trade deadline. Remember that happened? Yes, massive round of applause. I know it's been a minute since then. So massive round of applause to everybody who joined, all my guests, everybody who hung out with me that day. It was a blast. Thank you. If you haven't seen it, you can go back and watch it. We have a ton of stuff to get to today. We got a ton of hockey. We're also going to play a little bit of Puckdoku, of course, to the shock of absolutely nobody. And we are also going to talk a little bit about the Montreal Canadiens, not their win against Florida, the second one, right? That was a wagon win, though. But we're going to talk a little bit more about goaltending for this team, right? Because it needs to be addressed. It does. A lot of things happening around the goaltending situation. We're going to take a look at that. Before we get to all that fun, if you have found yourself in here by accident, thank you for being here. All right, go ahead. Give yourself an applause. Thank you so much. If you want to find yourself back here again, just go ahead and you're on the YouTube. Go ahead, hit the sub button, ring the bell. I appreciate it. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. You follow me on Twitter at FuzzyChris91. Follow the podcast as well at Slapshot Podcast. If you head over there, you hit the link tree, you can find the podcast everywhere you enjoy it. Let's get through some of the news. All right, some of the things that have happened because it's coming down here to the wire. Let's start with one GOAT. Let's start with Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby is the first player now in NHL history to average a point per game in a season for 20 seasons. Sidney Crosby has averaged over a point per game for 2 decades. That is, nobody's ever done it. Not even the great Wayne hasn't done it. He is so good. Sidney Crosby is so good. And the era of Sid the Kid and Ovi is slowly coming to an end, but man, it's been a pleasure to grow up watching 2 of the best players ever. So congratulations to Sidney Crosby for that. Less than ideal news. I mean, depends on who you are, though. John Tortorella was fired by the Flyers, and all of a sudden the Flyers have been less terrible than before. Matvei Michkov, probably the happiest person to see John Tortorella walk out of the room because he has been scoring goals. I really don't know if we see John Tortorella behind another bench. Here's what I will say about John. I would love to see him on TV. Probably on a network that allows the F-bomb to drop. But I think that would be better for him instead of coaching. Some players love him. Decent amount of them hate him. If John Tortorella wasn't part of the Flyers, I think Matvei Michkov scores like at least 40 goals this year. But we'll never know, right? We'll never know. The NHL has signed a brand new deal with Rogers, so that's good, I guess, from them. 12 years, $7.7 billion. That's billion with a B. US dollars for the TV deal with Rogers. That is almost double what the current TV deal is. I'm not gonna lie. Watching hockey on Sportsnet, I mean, it is what it is, right? I would prefer to watch hockey on Amazon If you watch Amazon Monday Night Hockey, it's so good. It is. It's fantastic. And I mean, good for the NHL. First of all, good for the NHL for locking up a deal. Is it a little bit long, 12 years? Who knows? But they doubled their revenue, and that's important for the growth of the game. It's important for players as well, owners, et cetera, et cetera. Like, could Amazon have been the official like partner of the NHL and show their games? Maybe. And I would have enjoyed that quite a bit. I would also enjoy living in a world where blackout restrictions don't apply, but we're not there yet. So good for him. Good for the NHL. Also, of course, Alex Ovechkin now exactly 4 goals away from breaking the all-time goal scoring record. Homie is not slowing down. I'm selfish because I want him to do it next year so he plays a full year. He's going to break it this year. I just want you guys to be aware of that. He is going to set the record this year. And that's okay. That's okay. And does that mean he doesn't come back next year? Maybe. Maybe. But there is no way Ovi's not getting it. Can't be. He is so good at playing hockey. And it has been a pleasure to, again, like Sid, watch him go out there and dominate. He is the greatest goal scorer ever. Not just because he will, set the record. But he is what he's been able to do in the modern NHL and score at the level that he has. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Greatest goal scorer ever. It's just the way it is. 2 more quick points here. Let's just, we have to talk about it, of course. Nick Suzuki is an absolute dominant player for the Montreal Canadiens. He is a top 10 centerman in the NHL, and I will fight you if you say otherwise. Just putting that out there. 27 points in 18 games since the Four Nations. Okay? And I love that after the trade deadline, like the conversations around Kent Hughes and stuff like that was when Nick went to Hughes and said, hey, don't trade everybody away. Like, let us make a run and keep some of the guys who are on expiring deals, right? The Yoel Armias of the world, right? Christian Dvorak. And Hughes basically told him, like, make it hard for me. You know what I mean? Go out there and do your job. And not every player can rise to that level. And not only has Nick Suzuki done that, like he has taken this team to a whole other level. He took it as a challenge and has delivered. And give Kent Hughes credit. He asked the boys to do what they needed to do, and they did. And he kept the band together. Look, I don't know if you guys know, but I haven't always been the biggest Christian Dvorak fan on this planet, or the Yoel Armia fan. And Dvorak, Gallagher, and even Josh Anderson, that line has been very good over the last few weeks for the Montreal Canadiens. So not everybody, most of the players have stepped their game up. And it's good. And Nick Suzuki has done the most of it. So kudos to him. Some of you think he is not elite, man. And that is wild. I can't believe some of you live life like that. But again, some of you are Leaf fans. So delusion is probably, a delusional hockey fan. That's fine. It happens. Let's wrap this up as well. Lane Hudson, by the way, winning Rookie of the Month for the second time. He is tied. I just want you guys to know. He is tied with Cale Makar for the most assists this season, which is 57. He has also set a Montreal Canadiens franchise record with 57 assists. No other rookie defenseman has ever had more than that. I know some of you want to have this conversation about who's winning Rookie of the Year, but obviously I tackled this and we took Lane Hudson as a possible winner of Rookie of the Year back when it was like, what was it? Like, I think I got it at plus 900. Okay. There is no conversation anymore about who's winning Rookie of the Year. If you think it's anybody else other than Lane Hudson, please get yourself admitted. Your brain also needs to be donated to science, because we have to understand how that much delusion can exist in one person's mind. I'm not going to take anything away from Michkov, from Dustin Wolf, from Celebrini. Those guys are having great years. But what Lane Hudson is doing at this level is unheard of. It's unheard of. He's gonna have 60 assists at the end of the year. Easily. And he didn't even start on Montreal's top power play unit. He plays a ton of minutes. Some of you want to talk about, oh, he's not great defensively. Brother, please. Homie is great defensively. He's only getting better. He is so good. I love watching him play. Good for him for setting all these records. I can't wait to see what peak Lane Hudson is going to look like. But homie's elite. And he's winning the Rookie of the Year. And I will accept a 3-page essay minimum if you tell me that you disagree. That's it. 3 pages minimum. MLA format, by the way. If you know, you know. Okay. Let's shift over here. All right. Let's do Canada's favorite game. Okay. It's Puckdoku, of course. I haven't done one in a minute. I do follow Puckdoku on X. Sorry, I call it Twitter. So Elon's gonna. The reach of this one is going nowhere. But I follow like the Puckdoku on X. And sometimes I see them come through because they pin like the daily one. And I'm like, man, some of them are good. Because I'm like, I would have never gotten this. So I'm glad I missed it. Others, I was like, wow, this was a freebie. I wish I was here. This is today's Puckdoku. If you have no idea how this works, it's extremely simple. I just got to find one player that matches the X-axis and the Y-axis. Today on the X-axis, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning, San Jose Sharks, and a defenseman. On the Y-axis, we have the Buffalo Sabres. No, sorry. Y, X is across, right? Y is going, sorry. Y, a math teacher would be so unhappy with me. The X-axis, let's get this right. Buffalo, the Kings, the Islanders. On the Y-axis, Tampa Bay, San Jose, and a defenseman. Okay. Let's solve this. Now, let's start with the easy one. Let's start with the defenseman. Now, I do not care about uniqueness. I'm just trying to get this done, all right? Some of you are like, what about the uniqueness? Like, good for you. You probably went to your teacher to complain when you had an 89 on an exam. And you're like, how can I get 90? Meanwhile, I'm over here getting a 72, and I'm like, job done. All right. So I don't care about uniqueness. Let's get this rolling. Let's start with the defenseman for the Buffalo Sabres. Ilya Lyubushkin. I know. None of you, listen, I know none of you are thinking him. You guys thought I was going to go to like Rasmus Dahlin or something, right? Ilya Lyubushkin. I have a soft spot for him. Blocks a ton of shots. I used him a lot in NHL DFS when he was with the Anaheim Ducks and with Buffalo. Let's go with the Kings. I need a defenseman for the Kings. I mean, I guess, right? I guess Drew Doughty. Feel better? All right. The Islanders, we're going to go with Alexander Romanov. Just a throwback to a Habs legend. Okay. All right. That was good. All right. Let's solve the rest of it. Let's go Sharks and Islanders. Anthony Duclair. Man, listen. I don't know if you heard the quote from Patrick Roy about Anthony Duclair in the last game that he played. But Roy was like, he was so bad, I don't know how he's in the lineup still. And that is quite something coming from your coach. That was Brutal. Brutal. Homie, poor Anthony Duclair. He cut his dreads to go play for the Islanders, and he's having a terrible year. So the Islanders in general are terrible, but man, that's unfortunate. Kings and Sharks, man, this brings me back. Now, Martin Jones. I am the president of the not Martin Jones fan club. A goalie, he was basically Alexander Georgiev, but Georgiev's run didn't last as long. Martin Jones would win a whole bunch of games and have terrible numbers, and you're just like, he's just on a really good team. It's kind of where we're at now. You know what I mean? Kings and Tampa Bay. Let's jump here. I don't know the Sharks here. Tanner Jeannot. Yeah. Remember when Remember when Tampa Bay just gave up like 9 million picks for him? Yeah. What a time to be alive. Buffalo and San Jose. I know some of you don't know this. Josh Georges. 2%. The original shot blocking king before David Savard. Was he at the same time as Hal Gill? Josh Georges, though. Yeah. You guys, I know you guys remember. I know you remember. All right, now I got to find connections here between Tampa Bay and Buffalo. For some reason, Dave Andreychuk has come to my head here. And I don't know if he played in Buffalo. I know. I'm that young. I'm also trying to think of, you know what I should have done? I should have done Duclair. Well, no, because I don't really know many San Jose Islander connections. I was going to say, did Duclair play in Tampa Bay? I think he did. Yeah. Duclair's starting to hit a lot of spots. So I don't remember where exactly he's played. Also, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they've been so consistent for the longest period of time. They don't have a lot of guys coming in and out of the lineup. You know what I mean? Why don't we do Dave Andreychuk here? Dave Andreychuk here. Okay, that was good. 18% too. That's like one of the highest. And I almost thought I couldn't get it. Okay. An Islanders and a player was played for the Islanders and a player was played for Tampa Bay. Okay. Well, this is where we slow down a little bit here, chat. I'm trying to think of someone. Tampa Bay and the New York Islanders. See, I could have done Anthony Duclair, and then I think did Evgeny Nabokov play for the Islanders? I know he played for the Sharks. You know whose name just popped into my head? Dwayne Rollison. I just don't think he played I don't think he played on the island. I don't think Dwayne Rollison played on the island. I think he played in Tampa Bay. I'm trying to think back now to these Islander teams and how absolutely miserable they've been for the longest period of time. What? And I don't want to cheat either. Like, I've come this far, you know what I mean? I don't want to cheat. Tampa Bay, New York Islanders player. Oh, damn. Did Derek Brassard? He played for 9 million teams. Did he play for the Islanders of Tampa Bay? Did he? I think Derek Brassard did play for the Islanders. I just don't think he played in Tampa. Tampa's been so consistent for so long. I also can't remember a ton of players coming out of there. No. Kyle Poso played in Tampa. Played in Florida, not Tampa last year. This one's hard. Habibulin played in. I'm trying to think of a goalie. I don't think Dwayne Rollison played there, though. That's the thing. I don't know where Derek Brassard. Derek Brassard played everywhere. I just don't know where. Oh man, I remember this. You know what? F it. Oh, he didn't. No. Oh, you see, everybody had Anthony Duclair here. See, Nabokov did. I messed up. I should have put Duclair. He did play in Tampa Bay. He did play for the Islanders. And I should have put Evgeny Nabokov. That's a me issue. I messed up. Mark Parrish. I would have never gotten any of these, by the way. Chikrin. There's some good players. Oh, you can see. Can you see the players that would have been there? Valtteri. Dwayne Rollison did. Oh. He did. When did he play there? Hold on. Now I'm Dwayne Rollison. Where is his hockey DB page? Minnesota. He was in Edmonton for a minute. He played 70 games with the Islanders. One season and was traded from the Islanders to Tampa Bay. Interesting. I remember him as part of the Minnesota Wild, though. Look at all these great. Calvin DeHaan. Oh, man. Ruslan Fedotenko. Nate Thompson. Mark Bergevin. Played in Tampa Bay and the New York Islanders. Zanin Konopka. Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't do a good job. Okay. Well, rip. That was disappointing. All right. That went longer than I expected. Let's dive into the most important topic. Okay. We're going to talk about the Montreal Canadiens goaltending situation. All right. Now, I know some of you want to talk about it in other ways. I want to focus on two parts here. One, we're going to talk about Jakub Fowler, okay? Unfortunately, I don't watch a lot of college hockey, but I care more because over the last couple of years, Montreal Canadiens had some pretty good players. Jakub Fowler is one of them, okay? Montreal Canadiens third-round pick in 2023, 69 overall. So Boston College got eliminated, which means now that Fowler has the opportunity to sign and start his pro career in hockey if he elects not to go back to Boston College. Okay. Now, there are some rumblings on the interwebs that Jakub Fowler may go back to Boston College for a third year. Okay. instead of signing a deal with the Montreal Canadiens. Now, there are a lot of moving parts to this. Let me simplify this for you, okay? One, he signs his entry-level contract. He joins the Montreal Canadiens, okay? That's one. Two, we're going to put, right, he goes back to college. Three, he would have to sign, if he signs an American League Hockey contract, because it was not signed before the trade deadline, he's ineligible for the playoffs. He would then have to sign a PTO, right? Professional tryout, right? He doesn't get paid, though, right? Now, if I'm the Montreal Canadiens, I don't want to burn a year of his entry-level deal. So, of course, I want to send him to the American Hockey League on a PTO. And if I'm Jakub Fowler's agent and Jakub Fowler, I probably want to sign an NHL deal, get 1 year closer to free agency, and, I don't know, start collecting a paycheck. And he gets what, like a $92,000 signing bonus? I don't know. Kid's 20 years old. I'm sure, 100 G's in the bank probably look good. Right? Now, here's off the rip. I don't think he's going back to college. What more do you need to prove at that level? Right? He wants to be in Montreal. Everybody knows he's going to be here. It's a question of trying to get it done. I believe that he will not go back to college. He is in no rush to have to decide what he wants to do. Okay? The Laval Rocket, first of all, they're out west. Okay? They have been elite all season. Okay? Caden Primo, remember when he was terrible? Now he doesn't lose in the AHL. So if Fowler signs his deal, he ends up in Laval. How much is he realistically going to play? If Caden Primo is the guy. You know what I mean? How much? Not that much. Not that much. Now, some of you are saying, well, Chris, how much is Jakub Fowler going to play if he signs his entry-level contract with the Montreal Canadiens? And you know what? The answer is probably not very much. Right? But from a player standpoint, if I'm not going to do much at any point, might as well get paid for it, right? If I'm going to sit here and do nothing or sit there and do nothing, I'm going to sit where I get paid. Sounds about right. Now, here's the other part of this. Let's take Fowler. Let's put him over here. Let's put him to the side, okay? Let's deal with a more pressing issue, which is Montreal Canadiens' current goaltending situation. I'm going to pull up a list here, and I want you to look at it. And if you're not watching on YouTube, I'm sorry. I will describe it for you, though. Okay? This is a list of the goalies who have played the most games this season. Okay? I'm going to make this bigger so some of you can see. Where's the zoom button? Is that big enough? That's big enough. I'll accept all the cookies here. Okay. At the top of the list, to the surprise of everyone, these are games played, not games started. So just games played. Usually games started, it's pretty close. Games played. Andrei Vasilevskiy has played the most. Shock. Guess who's number 2? Correct. Connor Hellebuck. Third is Ilya Sorokin. Okay. Fourth is Sam Montembeault. Fifth is Igor Shesterkin. Okay. Now, the traditional workhorse of a goalie is slowly evaporating from the NHL. They're not built like they used to be built. In the Marty Brodeur, the Patrick Waugh eras, those goalies they're few and far in between. And it's probably better that way because hockey has evolved since then. Right? Your backup goalie has to play a little bit more. And for whatever reason, Marty St. Louis has decided that he wants to turn Sam Montembeault, okay, into a workhorse. And that is no bueno, okay? Andrei Vasilevskiy has Stanley Cup rings on his finger, okay? Connor Hellebuck is about to win a Vezina, another one. He's likely to pick up the Hearts, okay? Can we agree that that's elite? Perfect. We'll leave Ilya Sorokin out of this conversation because he plays for the New York Islanders. Igor Shesterkin. We all agree he's elite? Okay. So having Sam Montembeault in that conversation just doesn't seem right. Okay? I believe that a goalie split for guys who are not workhorses should be about 60-40. Okay? As of today, the 2nd of April, Sam Montembeault has played 73% of Montreal's games. He has started 73% of Montreal's games. He is on pace to start over 60 games. That is way too much hockey for a goalie, let alone one that is not a workhorse. Okay? Sam Montembeault he's got a 2.9 goals against average and 899 save percentage. I get the Montreal Canadiens. I get the team that they are, okay? I understand that. Which in my mind is why he should not be playing this much hockey. There are times where Sam Montembeault looks gassed. Specifically in that game against St. Louis, where I think it was, the third or the fourth goal? Basically went off his glove and into the net. I mean, that's a goal that you see in a Monday night league, which, by the way, my team ended up winning. The Ducks, yours truly, scored a goal in the deciding game, right? This was a best of 3. Scored a goal in the second game. I also led the league in penalty minutes in the playoffs. So I'm basically just a stat stuffer. I can do anything, is what I tell myself. Now I digress. Sam Montembeault has played too much hockey. And now you're saying, well, what about the backups? And I'm like, man, I'm so happy that you want to talk about backups. I am. Now here's why. Let's go to the teams that are in question. Okay. Oh, wait. I went too far. Okay. So we're going to focus on games started because that's important. Caden Primo, let's just push him to the side. Hasn't worked out. Jakub Dobes, remember he had a fire start. He's come back down to earth a little bit here, okay? I think he played like 4 games in March, and he won just 1. It hasn't been a good run for him. And that's fine. He is a child, okay? He's got a 302 goals against average, 897 save percentage. It hasn't been pretty, but he also hasn't been playing. When Marty St. Louis lost confidence in Caden Primo never saw the net again. He just sat there. And Montembeault played too many games. And then they sent him down. Dobes came up. Dobes was better. And there was a little bit more of a split. Now Dobes has slipped a little bit. And all of a sudden, Sam Montembeault starting to play a lot of games. When Sam Montembeault is good, he is good. When he's not, it's bad. I am of the belief that you can, if Sam Montembeault is to play, okay, listen, let's do some math here, okay? There's 82 games in a season. If he plays 60% of it, that is 40, let's round up, 50 games in a year, okay? 50. A 60-40 split means 50 games for your starter, 32 for your backup. That is about where it should be. And we have seen teams have success with this, okay? Look at Jeremy Swayman. He is playing the most games he's played in a long time. That probably hasn't worked out very well for the Boston Bruins because, oh, by the way, they sit at the bottom of the Atlantic. Yay. Listen, I'm not crying for them, okay? I'm not crying for the Boston. If you're not going to catch me crying for the Boston Bruins, all right? Yeah, they're worse than the Buffalo Sabres. Imagine. Okay? So, remember we put Jacob Fowler over here? Let's bring him back here, okay? if I have a goalie who's not going to play, because I'm going to give Marty St. Louis the benefit of the doubt here, okay? I don't think the goalie situation, he's managing it quite well, but, like, what do I know? You know what I mean? Doesn't matter. If you're going to have a goalie not play, I don't want it to be Dobes. He still hasn't, like, I don't think Dobes is a bad goalie. I mean, sometimes he looks a little bit awkward. The homie's 6'4". Like, you know, it takes a minute for goalies to develop. First of all, he could clear weight. He could go down to the AHL. He could clear. He could play it. He was sent down as part of the transactional move before the trade deadline. So he's eligible to play the playoffs, yada, 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 yada. I believe that's where Jakub Dobes should be. Okay? Let him get him more starts in the AHL, work on his craft. Because if he's just going to come to Montreal and sit on the bench here, there's no point. What's the point? You're not helping. First of all, you're not helping Sam Montembeault. Because, again, he's playing too many games. 2, you most certainly are not helping Dobes. Okay? So if you're going to sit a goalie, why not sit Fowler? Listen. Okay? I get it's a stretch. And some people are like, oh, he's not going to play a game. These games are meaningful. They're high stress. He's a kid and stuff like that. Did you forget? Look at this. I know you can't see Spotify. He finished with a 1.63 goals against average, a 940 save percentage with Boston College in his second year. He had 7 shutouts, 25, 7, and 2. I get that he's 20. I get it. The NHL is a different league. I understand that. But this is a win-win for me. If you're confident that Jacob Fowler is going to be the goalie you expect him to be, then giving him an opportunity to play a couple of games in the NHL doesn't seem like a problem. They did it for Lane Hudson last year, and that worked out pretty well. Right? They burned 1 year of his eligibility on his deal. Lane Hudson, as of July 1st, can negotiate his next contract. So, anybody here have any questions? No. If I'm going to have a goalie sit on the bench, I want it to be Jacob Fowler. A, he can collect his NHL paycheck. I don't care about the extra year. I really don't. I don't. Because you can still start him in the AHL next year if you want. That's it. You're giving him the game or 2 that you give every college player that finishes that you think is going to make it, right? You do. Ryan Leonard is in, he signed his deal, played a game with the Washington Capitals. I get it's not the same thing between a goalie and, forward. But to me, it's a win. If Marty St. Louis is dead set on not giving his backup many games down the stretch, I don't want Dobes to be the one who pays the price for it. And I'm not saying Fowler's going to pay the price. He hasn't played any NHL games. Let him sit there. Let him soak up what it's like to be in Montreal. Let him be surrounded by all these other kids as well that are coming here, that are to the show. Let him work on his stuff as well with goalie coaches and stuff like that at the NHL level. Let him also collect his paycheck. The homie's allowed to get paid, man. Beer's expensive, I hear. Let this... Again, listen to me very carefully. Montembeault should not be playing as many games as he is. But we're committed now. You know what I mean? We have bet half of our stack on the turn. Like, we're definitely going to see the river. And if they raise, we got to go all in. You know what I mean? We're pot committed at this point, okay? Let me just pull up the standings here for some of you who are, yes, I accept all. Listen. The Montreal Canadiens today have 79 points, okay? They are 2 ahead of Columbus. Columbus and New York have 77. The Blue Jackets now have a game in hand. Okay? So we need the Blue Jackets to be losing the Rangers as well. Detroit is 75. Their hopes are starting to slip. The New York Islanders, we just can't take them seriously. The New York Islanders are just, can't take them seriously. For some reason, the Pittsburgh Penguins, 71 points. They're sticking around, but they're probably too far. They've already played 75 games. Anyways, I'm just saying, we're looking at this. You're probably going to want to run Sam Montembeault into the ground. That's where we are now. So why do I want Jakub Dobes to pay the price for that? Let him join the Rocket. Let him go on a playoff run. And let Cam Fowler sit. Let's guess the Montreal Canadiens make the playoffs. Let's just hypothetically. Okay. Montembeault is going to start every game anyways. That's not where you're playing your backup. There's no such thing as a rest. You're playing your starting goalie. You're going to run him into the ground, right? If one game Montembeault's off his thing and it's not working, I don't know, you're losing 5-0 midway through the second, you pull him out, you put somebody else in there, finish the game, get ready for the next one, right? That makes sense. There should have been more from the backups, but here we are. I would give Jakub Fowler his contract. Say, hey, man, you want it? Okay. I get why the Montreal Canadiens want to send him to the AHL, and I certainly understand his agent going, you know what? Maybe he'll go back to school. We haven't decided yet, but he's not going back. That is the least, what more do you want him to produce? One more. You want to do all that to play what? Chicken? He's not going back. His agent wants him to sign, obviously. Everybody wants to get paid here. I believe that it is in Jakub Fowler's best interest to sit on the bench in the NHL. If you're not going to let anybody play, fine. How many games did Fowler play here at college? He's already played 35 games. He's had a good run. That was 35, and that's not counting. I don't think that's counting the playoffs. No. That's not counting the playoffs. Or the college, the Frozen Four and stuff like that. I don't think it's counting that. He played 35 games. Somebody will correct me. 35 games. If he sits, it doesn't matter. And then once the AHL playoffs finish, then you can bring up a whole bunch of black aces. Bring up Dobes. If you want him to sit on the bench, let him sit on the bench. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Do you believe that Jakub Dobes, if he does have to start 1 or 2 games from here on out, do you think he is significantly better than Jakub Fowler? Significantly better. That's my question to you. The answer is no. I just want to make sure you understand that. He's not significantly better. I'm not saying Jakub Fowler is better than Dobes. I'm just saying Dobes is not significantly better than Fowler. They're about equal. So if you got to play one, why don't we let Fowler get a taste of the NHL, see what happens? Right? Why don't we just, F around and find out for a little bit? I get where we are in the race. This is not the time to be testing things. But this kid has lived through the pressure of having to do everything. He has been a stud at every level. Give him the net. See what we work with here. Give him a taste. Give him his money, too. Come on, man. Kid's got to get paid. Bring him north. Let's go. He's coming north one way or another. Just keep him on the island. Don't make him go to Laval. Ugh. Even people who live in Laval don't want to be there. All right. There you go. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the episode for this week. As always, again, thank you so much for hanging out with me here. We are probably going to do these podcasts now on Wednesday. All right? But don't quote me on that. Like I said, my Monday league is over. We're done. Winners win, baby. That's what I did. So we're probably going to do it on Wednesday. It's just good, like just right in the middle of your, right in the middle of your day, you know? Split the week up, kind of. Have a good time, hang out here. Have Zill play on Wednesdays usually, so we can do that. Again, as always, if you haven't, make sure you follow me on X at FuzzyChris91, the podcast as well at Slapshot Podcast. If you're watching this over on YouTube, I appreciate you so much. Go ahead, hit the sub button, ring the bell. Listen to the podcast wherever you enjoy your podcast, all right? I appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see each other next week, all right?